There you go. Richard Perez getting down with the Diaz brothers. So, of course, we have to talk about that first fight before we look forward. So, one of the biggest questions is, when we spoke to you originally, you said that Nate Diaz was in good shape. Of course, one would say that going into a fight. Can you tell us, honestly, what kind of shape was Nate Diaz really in? Because it came out that he was potentially in Cabo, on a boat, sort of enjoying his time off. What kind of shape was Nate Diaz really in?
Well, he wasn't really in tip-top shape, but I mean, because he wasn't expecting a fight, but he was still training here and there, not as much, And then when they told us that he had a fight, he was in Cabo. He called me and I said, okay. He said, I'll be back and we'll start training. The next day he was here and we just did it. I mean, he was in tip-top shape. That's why, people take 2 week notice. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to win the fight, especially when they're fighting somebody that's, on top of the world, And but I really had good doubts that he was going to win this fight, and so did he.
You did have doubts, or you didn't have doubts?
No, I knew he was going to win it. Just so did he, because the way we were training really good. He had sparring, not a whole bunch of sparring. I probably had like 3 days of sparring, and then he worked on mitts with me, and he did other stuff. But when he puts his mind to it, he does it. Just like I do when I train people. When I put my mind to it, I do it. There's no excuses at all. We just get in there and do it.
What I want to know, Richard, is with Nate Diaz on a full training camp, how do you think the rematch goes? If you've got Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz doing the rematch at welterweight, apparently, do you think the fight ends quicker? How do you think it goes?
Well, you know my answer. What would your answer be? I just told you
we'll see what Nate learns. We'll see what Conor learns.
And he has no injuries. He dominates. Dominates easy. He stops people, or he beats them. They don't have a chance. And McGregor had a full camp training, and he even moved up weight to get stronger. Nathan was out, enjoying himself, going to Cabo, eating and drinking and having fun, and they call him. So if that 2 weeks, if he dominated, it took him 2 weeks to dominate a guy that's undefeated, that's a golden boy, what do you think is going to happen in 3 months training?
Ariel Helwani reported that this fight would be happening at welterweight. I mean, nothing's been confirmed, nothing's been signed just yet, but welterweight seems like a very strange weight class to have both men, because obviously McGregor is a featherweight / wanting to go to lightweight, and Diaz fights best at lightweight. What would you think if this fight was at welterweight once again?
Well, what I see is that McGregor likes that weight. I guess he likes 170 for some reason. That's what I can think of. He feels comfortable.
What do you think it does for Nate? Do you think he fights better? Because obviously if he does fight true welterweights, he's got potentially a size disadvantage. But if he fights McGregor, he doesn't really have that. Do you think it works best for him that he doesn't have to make that weight cut?
Well, he's going to cut weight anyway, because he walks around a little heavier than that. So he's going to cut weight too. So I imagine they're both going to cut weight.
I'm just wondering, did he cut any weight for the first fight against McGregor? How much did he cut?
I can't remember he did tell me. I can't remember. I want to say 185.
Because I remember when we spoke to you before the fight, you mentioned how he was on weight. He was at 170.
Oh, yeah, because he was already training.
Right.
But before, when he called me at Cabo, I can't remember if he said he was 180 or 185. I can't remember.
So that would have been about 2 weeks before the fight. You're saying he was about 180, 185.
He might have been 180, yeah.
Oh, wow. In the last few days, do you know if he cut any water weight?
No, he was doing fine. He was still eating a little bit and, not starving. And he was drinking water and whatever he wanted to drink. I mean, he don't drink sodas or anything like that, but, I mean, he had a meal.
Now, Richard, nothing's been confirmed yet with this rematch, but I'm just wondering, has Nate approached you? Have you heard any rumblings? Is this thing official? Has it actually been offered to Nate? Or at the moment, is this all just sort of hype built by the media and there's nothing really on the table yet in terms of actually having this fight at UFC 200 with McGregor?
Well, there's no sign yet. There's no signed contract. He just said they told him that he might be fighting again, 170 McGregor. So I said, okay. So he's planning on coming into the gym, next week and start working out just in case, whatever we get. He's not going to be just laying around.
Right. So the UFC did call him, and they did say that is a possibility.
Well, I don't know if UFC called him. I just know that he said that someone told. I don't remember who, because we're at the party and the music's so loud. I'm trying to listen to him. It wasn't easy to listen to. So he just said that, hey, I might be fighting McGregor again. I said, okay.
And
ready. He goes, I'll be there next. He said, I'll be there next week. I said, okay. So that's next week, not this week, next week.
And this party, I'm just wondering, how long ago was that?
It was Friday.
Friday. Okay.